Alright, I'm at the point now I'm going to start talking about replacing the headliner. You can see my headliner's kind of not in the greatest shape. I don't know if it's original, if somebody put it in and didn't put it in right, but it's sagging at a couple of the bows. Anyway, in order to change the headliner, obviously you got to take all the trim down. You got to take down the visors, the trim around the windows, the back sail panels, and that's the first step. The coat hanger. I don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong. I tried to cut it and look up in there. Something's wrong is what's making it sag down right there. I'll figure that out when I start taking it apart. Okay, so I took down all the trim, and this stuff is glued around the sides, and I just pulled it loose. And I think this headliner's been replaced probably back when they did the halfway restoration of this car. It seems like it's been replaced. There's things about it that don't look original to me, like this silver insulation they put in there. So what I did is pulled it loose around all the edges, took down everything that went around the edges, all the chrome and everything, and all of that kind of stuff. And this is another sign right here from the factory. This had some cork type material that you could staple into, and it didn't look like they had that. It didn't look like they were using that. But trying to see if it's even still there. I think it's still there. Yeah, so you staple the edges into that. And they had glued everything. They glued these cell panels in, and from the factory they were clipped in. So we're gonna see. I gotta make the best of the situation of what I got here. Hopefully they didn't do too much damage. Okay, so I took all the headliner out, and the insulation above it was falling apart. I went ahead and took all that out, and I put some of this Kill mat in there. It's available on Amazon. I'll try to put a link in the description. So now I'm pulling the rods out. I pulled 2 of them out already. You see the others are hanging there. These things got to go back in the same position they're in, so you got to take them out. And then I got this laid on top of my car. Be real careful, of course, with your paint. But I slid them into the hole that they came out of. And that's one way that you're going to keep track of them. You don't have to worry about getting them mixed up. It's just take them there and put them straight in. And also, I will be drawing a line on the inside of this just to keep up with the center. So when I snap these things into the center, I know that I'm in the center. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit more about these clips here. My car was missing these clips. I know they had it from the factory, but somebody put a headliner in this car I'm gonna guess at least 20 years ago, they changed the interior color of this car from aqua to blue. And they put a headliner in this car, and I guess they broke the clips and decided they didn't need to put any back up. Well, problem that one of the reasons I was even thinking of changing the headliner is one of the bows had kind of fell down right here, and the headliner was saggy a little bit. And the reason it was is because it didn't have this clip in. And so when you get on the internet and look up headliner clips for 67 Cadillac, nothing comes up anywhere. I know what these look like because I took apart the parts car and I remember what they look like, and I saved them. And then very stupidly, I sold the headliner bows from the parts car, and I sold the little clips with it. I sold them on eBay. I had them all taped together and sold them. Anyway, so I got to looking, and it lists the ones for 67 to I don't know what year Chevelle. And those are exactly the correct clips, but they're not listed for Cadillac anywhere that I could find. So if you need these clips, order them for the Chevelle, and I got these off Amazon. I'll put the link to them in the description. Anyway, wanted to let everybody know that because I was a little bit worried that I wasn't going to be able to find what I needed to find. And thank the Lord I was. Just wanted to let everybody know. Also, I put insulation back here on the ceiling of the car, and if your ceiling of your car is rusty, you need to spray some paint on it or something because the insulation won't stick to the rusty roof. Ask me how I know, because I did that. They had already put this insulation in the front. I guess when they redid the headliner, I'm probably going to just leave it alone. It's still holding up good. Probably whatever was popular back then. But the back part had the original insulation, and it's now been replaced. So now I've got to put these clips in, and I'm ready to start putting my headliner in now. Okay, so on the headliner, I've got all the bows taken out and slid into the new headliner. Now I've got this middle one. This one is different than all the rest. This is the first one you put in, and it has barbs there. You can see these barbs sticking down, and basically this goes in there. You'll set it there like that, and you'll bend the barb over the round pole, and that's how you get the headliner started. So now I'm just taking it down. I'm bending the tabs over and getting the rod out. So I slid the rod into here, and it doesn't reach the ends. This middle one don't. And I marked the center of this. I measured side to side and marked the center. And the way it is in the car, there's a prong on each side of the center. It'll be like this, and you basically put it in there, stab it through the fabric, and bend it back over just like it was. Also, you need to take a pair of scissors and cut these ends up about 1.5 inches or so, probably, where it's bent. I don't know why they make them as long as they do. And you see how it is. I cut it back off the sides here. Pretty much back to the elbow where they bend that. And you got to do the same on both sides. Like I said, just about 1.5 inches probably. Hopefully that's not too much. That's it for that. It's kind of a difficult thing to record by yourself. I don't have a cameraman, I'm just a normal guy doing this at my house. But like I said, when you go inside, this middle is going to be the first thing you do. A lot of people will put their contact cement on there. This is the contact cement I used on my seats, and it worked really well. So basically you're gonna put it down through here, brush it on each side, back about that far, wherever you're gonna put it. And you also do it on the inside, on the metal. So when it comes together, it bonds. And it's still movable. When I did my seats, it was still movable on that. So it's not like it's, once you put it there, you can never move it again. I know everybody can't see this real well. I'm just trying to do something where you can see a little bit what I'm doing. This is like trying to record something while you're hanging a sheet to hide something. So my red dot, my red center mark that I made here on this middle piece, it's going to go right on the center of the car. There's a prong on each side. First thing I'm going to do on this one is make sure it's even side to side. The bar on the inside is, and it is. And then I'm going to lift it up here and center this red mark up with the center of the roof. And press this through the prong, and then I'm going to tap it up with my hammer. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the prong on the other side. Push it through the fabric on the listing, and just like that, we're started. I'm going to do the same thing as I go across. I did the headliner in my 65 Impala, and it was the first one that I'd ever done at all, and I was a little intimidated by it. But honestly, it wasn't that hard. It's something that basically people can do. You just got to work your way from the center out. So I'm getting ready to put this next piece in here. I'm going to drive it through just like I did that one. I'm going to push it through the fabric. But what I did at the same time is pull it straight out because I don't want it to be wrinkled in the middle. So basically go all the way out to the edge with that. Pulling it out so there's no wrinkles. And stabbing the barb through and driving it over on the rod. So now the rod's held in place. Same way on the last one here. And then the other side. While pulling outward toward the edge of the car, slightly with the fabric. Push it through, drive the bar. Drive the barbs up, and then the last one. Alright, so now first step is done. So the next step will be actually, whenever we took this apart, I marked the hole that these things came out of, that these wires were. I'm going to put it back in the same hole that it was in. I want to make sure to do that on the other side. Put the bow right in the same hole that the one was in that it came out of. And I'm going to try to flip it up so it's the right direction. It's going to be a pain if you get them in the wrong direction. Alright. So there we go. And I've got this clip up in the middle that they're going to be. Okay, I'm going to show what I was talking about. And I looked it up on another video that somebody made for a different type of car. And they said that you got to cut the fabric in the area that goes on this clip. And of course you don't want to cut your headliner, but this part that's all around the listing, you can cut it out and get it out of the way, and then you'll be able to clip it. This part that goes around the listing, you'll be able to cut it out and get it out of the way, and then it should clip in easier. That's what I'm going to try to do. Okay, I got one of them in, and I'm not gonna lie, it was extremely hard to do. There's probably some kind of trick to it. I'm wondering if these aftermarket parts are just not as not made exactly like the originals, but it's in now. And this slides back and forth in the slot so you can adjust it as needed as you're pulling front to back. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all these clips in front to back. Hopefully they won't all be as hard as that one was. But that's what I'm working on now. Okay, so I got all those clips clipped in. I got all the bows put in. This is what it looks like right at the moment from the inside of the car. The next step, from what I understand, the next step is stretching it from front to back and connecting it front to back. And we'll work our way out toward the corners, and then the last part will be pulling it out toward the edges. But front to back is the first step. And as you can see, it's already starting to take shape and look the way it should on the inside. I just want to show how this thing's connected at the back. There is no tack strip at the back. There is some tack strips where the cell panels went on. However, when I got a hold of this one, the headliner had been replaced before, and all they did was glued it. They didn't use the tack strips, and it was glued at the back, which honestly I don't see any other way of doing it at the back. It about has to be glued. That's the only way that I can see. Glued, and then maybe take the window frame trim and hold it in place, because there's nothing to even clip onto without taking the windows out, and I'm not taking the windows out. Okay, so I put contact cement on both sides here on the front. You can see there's a tack strip up there, and that's going to help me at least get started. I'm going to stretch it right in the center and work my way toward the edges, stapling it as I go. And then I'm probably going to screw the trim up there that holds it on, just because there's not a lot in these old cars. And these Cadillacs, the tack strip's in rough shape. Also, I want to talk about, that's where the visor went. I put some screws in the holes where you're going to go, and it makes it easier to locate once you get your headliner in place, because you won't be able to see it. So you just take a razor blade and cut around the screw holes once you do that, and it'll be easy. Okay, so I pulled it to the front, I pulled it tight and stapled it into the board, and I'm gonna leave it like that right now until I get the back. Okay, so now I'm gonna work back here at the back. It's kind of a difficult place to film. Hard to see what's going on back here. So this is a really difficult thing to do all the way around, because it's not cut out for the back window. They left enough on there for the cell panels. So I got to be really careful when I start stretching this out that I don't cut too much of it off. when I'm doing this. It's not really my favorite thing to be doing, but it's pretty much what I gotta do. So I'm just gonna fill the edge of the window, and I'm gonna leave it big at first and trim away a little bit at a time. So I'm gonna leave at least a couple inches too long. And it does not have to go at the bottom down here. The trim and the back dash is gonna cover that. This is not a package tray. This is not long enough to go that far. Alright, so I'm gonna leave like 2 inches too long. And you also got to be careful on the sides here, because this does have to go down the sides. Alright, so I tried to stay very far away from the edge for obvious reasons. Nice if we cut it a little bit closer to the shape that it should be. I don't want to be so nervous doing it. Alright, so I cut it out a little bit. So now I'm going to put the contact cement on both sides like I did before. And that's all there is back here is contact cement. There's no tack strip. Contact cement and screws that hold the rear trim on is what's gonna be holding this on. Right now I'm only going to put the contact cement on the top. I'm not going to do the sides yet. And I tried to find videos for people putting headliners in any Cadillacs from the 60s, and I couldn't find any videos, so this may be the first one. Hopefully it'll help some people, so there'll be something to go by. All I've been able to do is go and look and see what people's been doing with other types of cars. Like I said, I did one of my Impala, so it's a little bit similar. 65 in power. I'm also going to paint the edge of the fabric with the rubber cement. Contact cement. Stuff works really well. I tried headliner glue before. I've tried multiple things. And when I was doing my seats, I was trying to find something strong. I tried this 3M Super 33, which is not good at all for this purpose. It might be good for something, but not good for this. So far, this is by far the best glue that I've found for gluing this kind of thing. So contact cement's supposed to dry a little bit before you start trying to put it in place. Supposed to let both sides dry. See how this film goes. Sometimes it's sides here. I pulled it tight starting in the middle and put contact cement on both sides of the car and the back of the fabric. And I'm basically just pulling it out straight. You see how it looks there. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to look for the most part. I'm not gonna try to pretend to be perfect on this one. But the whole goal is try to make it as wrinkle free as possible. And it might not be perfect when I'm done, but it's gonna be a lot better than it was. Basically, you can let it sit out in the sun, and a lot of these little wrinkles like this might come out. Some of that'll come out too. Lightly, you can do it very careful. But you pull it to the side and you use these paper binders to get off that. That's it. Now I'm going to go back here. This part back here is stapled to this hatch there. I'm going to pull it and staple it down. It's kind of hard to see this. I've let this dry for 24 hours and I've still got the clips up here. I'm going to take the clips off and I'm going to put the trim back on, and I'll let everybody see what it looks like once everything's back together. But that's pretty much it. It's not rocket science. You know, and you can sometimes it'll take out some of the smaller wrinkles the longer it's there.